Roll on for the mystery tour.
Salutations from space. This is Gemini Brett with a quick sample of nodal returns and eclipse activations, a Kepler workshop that is coming to a theater called U this Saturday, June 22nd at 12 p.m. Pacific. 3.5 hours of eclipse magical mystery for only $38. Do you know why I chose that number? In the workshop, we will take a look at this transit chart to George Harrison's nativity. This is the day that George auditioned for the Quarrymen, the group that would soon after be renamed the Beatles. We see a yod arrow between the moon and the sun pointing to the north lunar node transiting George's Scorpio moon and Libra ascendant. Now, when the nodes transit natal planets or points, we should look for eclipse activations nearby. Here we find the sun about 27 degrees from the south lunar node, which means it is about to be eclipse season, right? In fact, about 10 days after this audition, there was a penumbral lunar eclipse, 14 degrees Libra, square to George's natal Cancer Jupiter, just as he was entering a new family. Now, full moons are about 15 days and 15 degrees before the following new moon. So if we add 15 degrees to the sun, which we see here at 14 Aries, we will find that there will be a new moon right at George Harrison's descendant, and in fact, it was an annular solar eclipse at the descendant. And this was all about relationship, right? Dragon mirrors. Illumination, new moon to new moon, on average is about 29.5 days. So 6 of those, 6 new moon cycles, is about 177 days. In that time, the sun moves about 177 degrees. So it is very common to find a solar eclipse shadowing a part of the zodiac that is directly opposite to a point that was shadowed about 6 months before. And indeed, that was the case here. We find on October 23rd, 1957, a total solar eclipse in the last degree of Libra, right with Mercury at George's ascendant and very close to his Scorpio moon. This is the prenatal eclipse chart for George's audition for the Beatles, and it brings our attention to how close George's Scorpio moon was to rising at the time of his birth. So what's the problem with this picture? Here we see a chart wheel, thank you Astro Gold software, and Stellarium astronomy software showing us George's chart in the sky. We'll dig the moon. The chart shows that it's below the horizon, but it had already risen. How can this be? We enter the mystery of the lunar nodes and lunar latitude. At the time of George's birth, the north lunar node was in Leo, very close to the royal star Regulus. The Scorpio moon ahead of there had significant northern latitude. And for the northern hemisphere, especially for locations far from the equator like Liverpool, England, this means that the planet is going to rise well before the degree that it projects to. In astrology, we draw planets down to the ecliptic plane. That is the plane of the sun's apparent path about Earth. The planets have their own trip. So the actual moon was above the horizon, but the zodiacal degree that it projects to was below. So had George's moon risen or not? I ask you to enter the mysteries of lunar latitude. But what does it mean? Find out in Nodal Returns and Eclipse Activations, a Kepler workshop with me, Gemini Brett, this Saturday, June 22nd at 12 p.m. Pacific. Register now at keplercollege.org.
See you in space.